Nottingham Forest versus Burnley, only been played once since 2016, and that was about 2 weeks ago. Went pretty well.
That's so disappointing.
It didn't go well. It was pretty dreadful, to be honest. Like, one of the worst games I've seen in ages. So let's not do that again, Forest. The last 5 games have been 1-1, 3-1, 1-1, 1-0, and 1-0 to Burnley. So that's not great, but things have changed quite drastically since the first 4 of them games that I just read out. We're 9th in the Premier League, by the way, just sort of remind you of that. Yeah, probably not by the time this video comes out, but hopefully we can move back up there or higher with a win tomorrow. By the way, have you liked and subscribed? I can't do subscribe, can I? I'll show you. Do this. Yeah, subscribe everyone. Make sure you do that. I know I look like I don't know what I'm talking about, but trust me, I do. I like to think so anyway, so make sure you subscribe. Cheers. Burnley have played 3 games in the league this season, all of them at home. Lost all of them, but against very difficult opposition in Manchester City, Aston Villa and Tottenham. And it gets even harder this Monday when they take on Nottingham Forest at the world famous City ground. See what I did there? They need to find a way quite clearly to adapt to playing in the Premier League, having dominated the Championship as much as they did last season, pretty much winning the league by Christmas really last year. So it is difficult to sometimes juggle that. Fulham managed to do it last year. Norwich never tend to be able to do it, but can Burnley? They've also made 15 signings, exactly what Forest did, but a bit more. Still about 8 more players, so that's kind of a bad comparison, but they made a lot of signings. So they're also not only having to learn the league, but also learn the team and what works best. Burnley are with a few injuries. A few of them are still from that game against Forest, where they had about 4 players go off injured. But we have got a few players back available for Burnley, this being Vitinho and Aaron Ramsey. So they have got a few players out, and they have dabbled quite a lot with what formation they played this season, which probably also suggests why they're struggling. They're really having to adapt and see what works best. They played a good old-fashioned Burnley 4-4-2 twice this season, 4-3-3 and 5-4-1, that being against Man City, which is probably fair enough. They'll be a tough team to beat. We can't go into this thinking it's going to be easy. We did that in the Cup and that didn't go too well. So let's not go with the complacent attitude, even with a much stronger side in our favour and probably a better atmosphere really as well, in what is actually a slightly refurbished City ground. Seems to be some new little additions to the ground since any of us last went there probably. Taking a look at Nottingham Forest, what a remarkable football team, what a great start to the season we've had. They've been excellent at home last season, but not so much this season. A very scrappy win against Sheffield United and a poor performance against Burnley. Have the tables turned? We're good away from home all of a sudden, but poor at home. Let's not do that, Forest. Let's have a good balance. We may have lost 2 away from home this season, but against rather good football teams, robbed in one of them to be fair, and then beat Chelsea. So we have drastically improved on the road, and this is something that is only going to continue to go in our favour. Man City next away, but then it does kind of get easier against Crystal Palace, but then it's Liverpool again. So yeah, it's some tough games, but we can do it away from home seemingly now. Let's get a good win at home though. But like I say, it's not going to be straightforward. Burnley are going to be out to prove a point in the league anyway. They may have already beaten us in the Cup, but they need 3 points. They've only scored 1 goal in the league all season, so they need to get a response. In terms of our injury news, we have got Anthony Elanga and Danilo as unknowns in terms of how fit they're going to be, if they are going to be fit at all for this game. Elanga getting injured for Sweden over the international break, which is really frustrating. Danilo went up against Chelsea, of course, and it's still not too known if they're going to be fit, but most likely they will be, knowing Steve Cooper's antics with how he treats players' injuries. Good news though, Felipe is back in the mix. He's been training over the international break, was on the bench for the last 2 fixtures we had before the internationals, so hopefully we do see him in the starting 11 sooner rather than later, because he was absolutely vital at the end of last season. Just talking about transfers for a moment, we have seen Emmanuel Dennis and John Shelby be shipped out to Turkey in the last week, so that's been confirmed. Just trying to think of something interesting to say about that. No, I can't. I'm actually really happy about that. So see you later, lads. It does also look like Julian Biancon is going to be going to Olympiacos as well. That's not been confirmed, but he's not in the 25-man squad. Got to feel a bit bad for him, really. Especially because Harry Toffolo's not entirely in favour, and he's going to be banned next season, but he's still going to be banned at some point. So yeah, that obviously means that he's going to leave surely. And Ethan Horvath, who knows, maybe he's going to go too. I don't see him wanting to be 4th choice goalkeeper, not even registered in the team. So my team for this game would be this. Not making too many changes. I don't think that's entirely needed. I know we've made 7 signings. I know some might say bring Dominguez in and bring Murillo, or, you know, have Niakate in there, for example. Like, he's obviously not a new signing, but still. Play Tavares, play Montiel, play Vlash in goal. No, I need to find out how to say his name. Vlachodimos. I think it's Vlachodimos, I'm sure it is. Anyway, I would definitely keep Turner in goal. I just feel it is brutal to drop him. Like, he's a great goalkeeper, been excellent for us so far this season, and I'm firmly in the camp of people saying that unless Turner starts to slip up, he stays in. Why drop him just because you've got in a good goalkeeper behind him? Yes, you know, Vlash technically could be 1st choice, and I'm sure he is 1st choice quality, but so's Turner. And this is a great problem to have. We've got 2 excellent goalkeepers. I'd keep Serge in. I don't think it's an issue. Why would you drop Serge? I know he's been a little bit difficult away from home at times. Against Arsenal, they weren't great. But Serge is fantastic. He's class. I think he's great. You know, he stays in the team. Montiel, World Cup winner, is just an unbelievable bit of competition. Same goes on the left-hand side. I keep Ola Aina in. I think he's been an incredibly shrewd bit of business for free. Tavares looked excellent against Chelsea, but we'll have to see how we juggle that one. And it's going to be interesting. Like, surely we're not going to have all of Tavares, Montiel and Nico, and then maybe 1 or 2 centre-backs on the bench. We're going to have some pretty big players not even making matchday squads, which is just bizarre to see. I'd personally play Felipe if he's fit. I love Niakate. I think Niakate should be in there as well. Willy Bolly has been unbelievable. He's been fantastic. So it's brutal that I took Bolly out of the team. I'm fully aware of that. And I know some might say, oh, why are you playing Wall for? He was so good against Chelsea. And yes, it's only 1 game. But I think you can't drop him after that. And he's the captain of the team ultimately. I'd keep Joe in. Yes, by no means at all is he our best centre-back. He's probably not even top 3, technically. But it doesn't mean that he shouldn't play, necessarily. What he brings to the team, I think, is very important. Murillo and Omar Baladelli, they're more for the future, seemingly, even though we've paid 12 million each for them, essentially. That's a lot of money for future stars. But there's no way they all get into the team at once. I mean, Scott McKenna, what happens with him? Is he just going to be out the picture? And the centre-back depth we've got, if you play 2, it is a bit brutal on some players. But it's the same with the midfield. For me, you need to have 3 in midfield. I think it's really important. Sangare, I don't know as much about him as some people, I'll be entirely honest. But he looks a really, really big player. And an absolute steal for us, quite frankly. So to see him play for us should be one hell of a spectacle. He's got to come in for me. I'd keep Mangala in. I know some might say play Dominguez. I wouldn't be too against that, but I think, he's a really smart player. I'd keep Yates in. I don't understand how people can slate him, even now, what he offers to the team. Again, a bit like Wall. He's not the greatest player in the world, but he offers so much to the team. Now, Alanga may be unfit, of course, but if he's fit, he plays. If he's not fit, I'd put Hudson-Odoi in there, 100%. And that's the only real area of the team that I feel we lack. It is really attack, and more like the wide areas. You've got Morgan, you've got Alanga, you've got Callum Hudson-Odoi, but then it's down to Aguilera. Is he up to the level yet? I think Forest clearly want to try and use him in that way. Origi, Wood, Taiwo, they're more out-and-out strikers, and I know all of them, if need be, can actually play out wide. And Danilo can kind of act as a forward as well, and we might want to see players like Yates get more involved in the goals. So, you know, maybe we're thinking we don't want to make it all about the forwards scoring goals, but I still feel like, even though Mighton and Dennis weren't good enough, not replacing at least one of them is the only thing we kind of did wrong in the window, like not keeping hold of one of them or just bringing in the forward may have not gone amiss. That's what I'd go with. What do you think, everyone? My prediction, I'm going to go... I'm not sure. I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1 Forest. I think Burnley may score, but I do feel we'll score more than them this time. It's not going to be easy. I don't think it... I mean, I hope we can win like 3-4-0, but I'm not going to do what some people did in the cup game. I just think it's really arrogant and cocky to do that. I feel you need to respect teams, see that, yeah, you may be favourites, and I think we are favourites, but Burnley are not going to be too easy for us, so we've got to work for this. Please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to Rads if you know everyone. I continue to do these previews for each league game. Really enjoy doing them, so I hope you enjoy watching them as well. And of course, the vlog for this will be out as soon as possible, probably on, well, definitely on the Tuesday. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Come on, you Reds.